This is a lab called Ocean Currents. Most students understand, as I did, that the water cycle was evaporation and then rain and then it went back to the ocean, and that if there was some pollution on the land, like fertilizers or oil, it could go into the water system and affect life. We now have information that I didn't have when I was your age. It's about Antarctica. There's a fabulous video. I'm going to show you some segments. This is from minute 38. We're going to see what happens when salt water freezes. We're going to see the salt falling out of the ice. This right here is a time-lapse photography. If you look very carefully, you'll see this little finger dropping here. That's what you want to look for when you watch this. This is from something called Earth from Space HD Nova. If you type those words in, you'll see a 2-hour movie. As it drops down, these brinicles, it's called. They call them brinicles because I think some of you know an icicle. You might not have seen, well, you've seen them on TV, right? Here in Florida, we just don't have them. Well, if you get thick salt water, it's called brine. And the brinicle, it's very cold on either side. So as the salt comes down, it forms a tube that's solid, but inside it's still warm enough so that it flows. And so it flows and flows and flows. This salt becomes eventually a river because there's a little bit that drops down. There's the little brinicle coming. They're now going to do a close-up of it. See the close-up right here? And so it's falling out of the bottom here. It's hard to see, but we now have cameras that are able to capture this. That's heavy, heavy salt is falling to the bottom. And what is additionally unusual is that if you look at this video here, you'll see that same brinicle dropping. See how it drops? This is a time lapse, and these are little starfish. Watch what happens when the starfish touches. Oops! This is freezing salt that grabs and kills the starfish. Now, the value of this for us is that those dead starfish start coming down, down, down in a waterfall. Well, it's a salt fall. We now have cameras to capture this. What they're showing on the side is this is where the ice is forming on the top. And then the salt is falling. That's the blue. Here comes the salt. Falling, falling, falling. It comes all the way down. And it's dragging all of that, the dead starfish. And anything else that's killed in it is being brought down. This becomes food for the fish up here in Florida. The dead stuff is coming. It's coming down. See, look, it's flowing. And here they use the word a salt fall. 1 trillion gallons of salt every hour. This is like 500 Niagara Falls. 500. One Niagara Fall is just from here to across the street. Can you imagine 500 of them? That goes way up to Palm Beach County. And it's falling every hour. This, in a way, this is the food that our fish in Florida are eating. If it wasn't for this, they wouldn't have food. And so we almost depend on this. This fall, now we go over to the next part of the video, which shows, do you see the purple?
Yeah.
What's that purple, you think? What's that purple? That's the salt. And it has fallen to the bottom because it's heavier. And it's gradually, as more push falls down, it's pushing. It's pushing the stuff in front of it. And so it keeps pushing, pushing, pushing until finally, this is South America. This is Africa. So guess what's just around here? Us. We're up here. We benefit from this salt. And so that's the question I'm going to be asking you. Why do we in Florida benefit from the salt fall? And so when you look over here, the salt falls out of the ocean, well, out of the ice, into the deep part of the ocean. The salt heads north, right? It's going north. And then the current carries food to Florida.
Are you saying it just carries food to Florida and no other states?
Oh, it goes everywhere else, but we certainly benefit from it, right? I'm thinking, when I get a fish out there, some fisherman pulls it out, the food that fish ate, some of that food came from down here. And some of that food is the dead animals. It could be the trapped algae that has been, it's all connected to what we eat on our tables. So the question at the end of the paper will be, what happens if right at somewhere in Antarctica they discover oil? Should we allow oil drilling near that salt fall? What might happen if you're drilling oil?
There ain't gonna be no fishes, because they're gonna die.
This is a difficult situation. So thank you for listening to this. This is absolutely remarkable, and you can find this by going to Earth from Space HD Nova.